In this bulletin, COVID-19 patient dies. Bigger venues for vaccination. And frontliners receive grocery support.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
The Ministry of Health has now confirmed that a man who tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday died at around 6:35 last night. Permanent Secretary for Health, Dr. James Fong, says they chose to delay making the official announcement to the public during the daily press conference as they wanted the deceased's family members to be properly informed. Dr. Fong adds that nobody should learn about the death of a loved one on the news on social media if that can be avoided. The Permanent Secretary stresses that they stand by the decision to allow them a window of privacy before the passing of their loved one was announced to the nation. The 53-year-old man was admitted at the Lautoka Hospital since April 19th for a surgical procedure. Dr. Fong adds that the patient was transferred to the ICU yesterday afternoon after his condition began deteriorating, and it was at this time that he was swabbed and tested positive for the virus. This is Fiji's third reported death due to the coronavirus. And we now join Koroi Tandolala live. Koroi, how are authorities responding after confirmation of this latest death yesterday?
We are here in Samambula, and as mentioned earlier, the death of the 53-year-old man in Lautoka has been described as a red flag, and this has posed risk to health authorities as well as health personnel in Lautoka about the terms of possibility of transmission of this COVID-19 virus. This has led to heightened screening and swabbing within the greater Lautoka area. What we do know is that the same instruction has been sent out to teams around the country to screen and swab as many people as possible. We are here in Samambula, where a team of health officials with the assistance of RFMF personnel and police officers as well have set up since 8 a.m. today to screen as many people within these areas who might have already missed out in the last screening processes as well. The Health Ministry has been calling out to Fijians to practice social distancing and to avoid unnecessary movement and stay home as much as possible, as this will help them and health authorities in their effort to stomp out COVID-19 as we are at war with this virus. Ateva.
Thank you, Koroi. Fijians who are eligible for the $90 food or grocery assistance have the freedom to purchase the groceries of their choice. Permanent Secretary for Economy, Shiri Ganda, confirms that there will be no limitations on what people can buy through this program. However, he has urged applicants to put the money to good use.
We call upon to all Fijians that this is a trying time. The country is going through a tough challenge, and we urge everyone that the taxpayers' funds that's been given out during these trying times be used wisely.
People in Nandi can apply for the $90 grocery assistance via text message to 161. The Suva Retailers Association will now take drastic steps in enforcing COVID-19 safety measures that are in place. Association President Jitesh Patel says the discussion was held with police and failure to comply could lead to arrests. These measures include physical distancing, mask wearing, and 50% shop capacity. Patel says their members have been informed. However, the association is pleading with supermarkets in the capital city to make this compulsory, as it will help minimize the threat of the pandemic, especially for those moving in and out of Suva. He says they encourage people to refrain from coming into the city. Meanwhile, police say they are beefing up operations to see that these laws are followed.
Only authority, legal authority are the police. So, and like I have been to the city, and I think 99% of people are wearing a mask. We try to encourage people not to come to the city. Go to the nearest supermarket in your area or nearest pharmacy in your area, so you don't have to come to the city, because there are markets everywhere at the moment. So use the places that are near to your home than coming to the city.
Empower Pacific has noted a drastic increase in the number of Fijians seeking psychological support over the past few days. Most of them are battling different forms of psychological issues or vilification in the greater Nandi and Lautoka containment areas. Mental health specialist Pram Singh says with the Lautoka Hospital on lockdown, counsellors are also inside the facility and will be able to support Fijians now in quarantine, as well as health officials.
We are trying to support our staff from our head office, and we are also trying to lessen their load. So telecounseling services have been activated since last year, and we have normalized this as a means of service provision.
The Ministry of Health is looking at bigger vaccination sites to better control crowds following local transmissions of COVID-19. Head of COVID-19 Vaccination Task Force, Dr. Rachel Devi, says they are strict with safety measures at vaccination venues. People are urged to practice social distancing and wear masks at all times. Fijians are also advised to register online before visiting the vaccination site to reduce crowding.
We learned a lot from the Vodafone Arena, and replicating the same thing in the other sites has been really good because it helps us demarcate where individuals can go.
$35,000 worth of grocery vouchers has been donated for frontliners, including police, military and medical staff. Shop and Save Supermarket has provided the vouchers to assist those who've been working at containment borders, quarantine facilities and screening teams around Fiji. The assistance has been welcomed as a morale boost for the thousands protecting Fiji from COVID-19.
We are in a very challenging time, and we are all in this together, and we are indeed grateful that the private sector, particularly Super and Save Supermarket, can offer this great assistance.
Donations such as these are very helpful in being able to support our frontline staff. What has been great to see is the way that civil servants right across Fiji have been able to come together, just as we do with any other disasters, and work hand in hand.
Fiji's e-trade expo with New Caledonia has been receiving positive response. Investment Fiji's trade and investment manager Kamal Chetty says some New Caledonia businesses have shown interest in certain commodities that Fiji has to offer. Chetty says the expo is a pathway where Fiji and New Caledonia can explore business opportunities, secure new markets and attract investors.
Out of that, we have received a number of interest into cocoa products, moringa products, sugar, noni brews, hand sanitizers, kava, and other wood products. So this is kind of the interest has been to date, but it will continue for another 1 month.
Up ahead, overseas investor ready to assist Drua and changes for Silktails. The Hawaii-based Kanaloa Pacifica is ready to assist the Fijian Drua financially. However, Fiji Rugby Union Chief Executive John O'Connor says Kanaloa's concept is different to the Drua. Kanaloa Pacifica's bid for a Super Rugby license was turned down, but its Chief Executive Tracy Atinga says they stand ready to divert investment funds into the Drua, whose bid was successful. But O'Connor believes the Drua can deliver before the 30th of June deadline.
We've never had any discussions with Kanaloa. Basically, we are very focused on meeting our financial diligence that is required by New Zealand, and we are confident that we will achieve it much earlier than the deadline requires.
The Kaiviti Silktails will be going in firing this weekend as they play against the Hawks, trying to register a 4th win before they go into a bye. The Silktails are in 6th place with 8 points after having registered 3 wins and 3 losses so far in the season. Round 9 of the Ron Massey Cup will see the return of Pio Sevi, who had been suspended and will start at second row. Team captain Penioni Tangi Tuimua will move to cover at halfback for Waisele Nayabudere, who has been charged with a 1-week suspension by New South Wales RL Judiciary. Head coach Wes Naingama says the win this weekend is a need for them to advance up the ladder.
Every week counts, especially this round. We've got this week going into a bye, so it's really worth 4 points. So that we've made that a highlight and sort of dangle that carrot with the boys, just to highlight how important it really is to get this win going into a bye.
New Zealand Cricket and the Players Association are quickly trying to make arrangements to get players and support staff out of India following the suspension of the IPL. A heavy rain warning remains in force for the eastern half of Vitilevu from Pacific Harbour through to Suva to Nosori up to Tailevu, Tailevu, Kandavu, Wanolevu, Taviuni and nearby smaller islands, Lomaiviti Group and the Lau Group. That's FBC News Now. Join us again for our 1-hour major bulletin at 7 p.m. And be sure to download the FBC app to access the latest in news and sports and live radio broadcasts from any of our 6 FBC radio stations. Stay safe and good afternoon.